So there is an illusion of freedom, but in reality, there is the actual freedom is not in breaking the rules, but to follow the rules and regulations. And every living entity has different types of conditioning, and based on different type of conditioning, there are different set of rules that are given in Vedic injunctions. So that is actually what is Varnashrama is meant. And according to the karma, he has to perform certain activities based on the Varnashram where he is located. That's how the system is created. And then the next one is Varnashrama, because this whole fifth canto is talking about following the rules based on one's position. So if you remember, this is actually, I will just come back to our original notes. So this is talking about first is talking about how we understand this concept. Yeah, I'll post the recordings in the group. So everyday recordings are posted. From last 2 days we are not able to post. Maybe today we will try to post it. So here we are talking about how to understand how they are all connected, each canto, and how they are the highest truth is understood only by prema, and different understandings of absolute truth. Two problems in the Puranas we discuss. It's no systematic progressive explanation of absolute truth, and Krishna is not the means. Krishna is the means, not the goal. So these are the two problems with Puranas, which Narada Muni pointed out to Vyasdev. That's why he has to write Bhagavatam. Now Bhagavatam is a systematic progressive explanation of absolute truth. That's how it started. The first canto is Adhikar Tattva, second canto is it's a Sadhana Tattva. It is like practices of different based on different qualification. But third onwards it talks the topics of Bhagavatam. It is talking about gross exploitation of the primary creation and the gross exploitation of material desires, material nature. And then there is a subtle exploitation that is in the fourth canto. So Vedic sciences and pride, offenses born out of pride, that is actually the fourth canto. So even Vedic way of living is also, so this is actually in one way Varnashrama only. But there is some other thing that is added. So you live according to Varnashrama. So Rahugana is living according to Varnashrama only, but it is criticized. So, and even the first it is criticized the Vedic way of living, like Daksha, Prithu, Prachini, Parshi and all. They performed the yajnas and all. Even that is not appreciated, and the results were not good. So the byproduct of Vedic life is pride. So pride makes one commit offenses. And now fifth canto comes with the sthanam. So your position is based on the metaphysical consciousness. Metaphysical, that is consciousness. Metaphysical boundaries, right? And if you go against our guna and karma, it causes pain. So we don't see anything in the universe because they are metaphysical boundaries that we have discussed. And the current society is lack of ultimate goal and Vedic instructions for a successful life. So that is actually what is the role. And we are trying to enjoy in mode of passion. And here we have understood that the Middle Ages, this problem, the shifted from God-centered to matter-centered worldview that happened in the Middle Ages in this world presently. And then we discuss the first 15 chapters. This is the first part of fifth canto. In the first part, it is first chapter is Priyavrat Maharaj. He wanted to renounce This is the renunciation of neophyte devotees. Lord Brahma is instruction is telling follow the laws according to guna and karma. So, and then we discussed that false renunciation. Why it is false renunciation? Because you are trying to work on a spiritual identity, but you also have material conditioning. So we have to act according to material conditioning. You cannot just say that, okay, my spiritual identity is this. So that is what is the problem. After the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna had this problem. You are telling about spiritual identity. Yes, but you also have material conditioning, that's why you have to fight. So that's why as the third chapter starts in Bhagavad Gita like this only. Arjuna has this doubt, if I have spiritual identity, why can't I act on the spiritual identity? You cannot act on spiritual identity because you have material conditionings. That's all. So sthanam is proportionate to consciousness, we have discussed. So consciousness develops when we follow rules and regulations according to our guna and karma. So there is spiritual identity, material conditionings. So the will of the law is the laws of material nature. That is the will of law. And guna and karmas, if you don't follow the will of Lord, that causes pain. So we have discussed. And then the eternal boundaries are there. We have to external boundaries and internal development. So both the things we have to practice properly. So external boundaries help us to overcome our material conditioning slowly. And we have to practice bhakti also, so that we develop internally. So that is how the instructions comes. And here if you follow the external rules properly, then what happens, we can develop also very nicely. So Priyavrat Maharaj developed very nicely because he followed the external rules, and how much he developed, he could create so much. He created 7 oceans, 7 islands. So what does it mean? That if you follow the external rules also, it helps us. So if somebody is we discussed, if somebody is a businessman, he should not work for salary, he should do business only. Then he will grow more and he can do more also. So externally also it is benefiting. And then his name, because he has that conditionings, that's why his name is only Priyavrata. He is very obedient to the wife. That means he is born with that conditioning. So he has to take up that according to his conditioning, and it worked also for him. So slowly he came out of his conditioning after once he became perfect. So third, so materialistic way of life, Vedic way of life, and fifth canto is following rules and regulations according to guna and karma. So and there is undue detachment by Priyavratma and undue attachment by Agnidhara. So that's what we discussed. And Sthitar Vaikunta, Lord never forgets his devotees. So we saw we will come to that point of Bharata Maharaj. So here then comes the Nabi comes, and Nabi's son is Rishabdev, and who instructs his sons how human life is meant for divine austerities. So that's what the instructions that are given to his sons. And because life is very short, and human life especially is a very valuable thing, even though it is very short, but we can perfect it very fast. So that is the advantage of human life, an enlivening nature of proper austerities, and that is the purpose of life actually. Purpose of life is to perform austerities. So this is what actually Rishabdev tells to his sons. And then Rishabdev's his final days, he enters into Kuladri mountains, and then he burns in the fire of yoga, indifferent to the bodily needs. But what happened? King Arhat, he imitates and he creates a very different religion. Why it happened? It is creating, if you follow the external renunciation without understanding, it creates pride and degradation of soul, because there is a want to become God. So this tendency will come if you are without understanding. If you are performing external austerities, the risk is that we will start developing pride, and there is a tendency to become God only. And that is actually what happens to most of these people. First they need to go to Guru, get proper understanding, and that's where the condemnation of atheistic approach is there. And following the rules and regulation, householder is better because he can be humble. So humility gives knowledge. That is real knowledge. This is a very important understanding. So if you want to gain real knowledge, a person should be humble. And any extreme renunciation, austerities, everything, if not done with a proper knowledge and understanding, it only leads to pride. So better first know the thing why we are doing, how to do and what to achieve clearly, then action should happen. So there should be Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So the Sambandha Jnana is important, then you have to practice. So this principle goes, Sambandha and Abhideya. And Prayojana. So what happens without knowledge, we should not do action. So this is knowledge brought action, result, right? So we just do action, we get wrong result. That means a person is performing extreme renunciation, austerities or anything, then the result will be he will become proud and he want to become God. But if you have a proper knowledge and perform action, then the result is safe. So that is the point here. And then we saw the next is Rishabdev instructing his sons on Varnashrama, and then two theories of Varnashrama, past life Guna Karma and present life Guna Karma. So external respect and internal development. So both the thing Prabhupada was explaining here. Then there is a story of Bharata. So we'll come to our this PPT here. So this is why the Varnashrama structure is like the peel, and the internal pulp is like spiritual bhakti. And this analogy of mango is given. Spirituality is the fruit, social structure is the peel. If you peel a mango too early, the fruit rots. Similarly, Varnashrama protects the internal development until maturity. So for us, we have to take only those which are which are important for us to follow. So protect internal development. So this is the purpose of our following. And what is the benefit is that we are we can be free from envy. So that is the first advantage of following the Varnashram system. So modern society is often a society of envy where individuals exploit one another to enjoy. Varnashrama is a social design intended to minimize conflict by dividing duties according to nature. So what happens here is, if they are divided properly, so the person is actually very uh, uh, they are respected properly. There is respect here. And one should remain in their position externally. So then here we have three. One is artificial renunciation and authorized power. So this is about Priyavrat Maharaj. So there is some artificial renunciation. Then you can see that he jumping over premature renunciation leads to chaos. By accepting his karma and following the order of Lord, Privat's power and influence increased immensely. So even though he was a boy, he eventually developed attachment. So it was safer for him to go through the experience and staying in one's lane than to artificially reject it. So this is the thing. So Priyavat Maharaj desired to remain brahmachari and to refuse. He was ordered by Brahma to accept the kingdom. So then we have this Agnidhara. So here, instead of evolving upwards, his consciousness became fixed in enjoyment. This led him to liberation, but instead of not liberation, he went to Pitraloka. So this is actually what happened to Agnidhara, because he had a desire to enjoy. And the lesson is both undue detachment like Priyavrat and undue attachment by Agnidhara bind the soul. So one leads to pride, other leads to degradation. So the goal is to follow the driver, the Lord's instruction rather than one's own will. And here is the Avaduta of Rishabdev. So imitation versus reality. So that is the important lesson here. In the end of his life, what he has given. Of course, he has given some instructions. And he told actually the purpose of life is austerities. So here the fall and rise of King Bharat Maharaj. So this is the last section of the first part. So King Bharata retired to forest perfectly, but developed an inordinate attachment to a baby deer. At death, he thought of the deer and became one. This proves that deep-seated desires can resurface even in seclusion without higher association. And another important point is Vaikuntha Vijaya means Lord did not forget his devotee. Even in the body of a devotee, Bharata remembered his past life. The fall was not rejection but a detour for final purification. So this is the important instruction. So here comes the another very important section of the Jhada Bharatas. So here Ravaguna is criticizing. So we'll just take this one part now. This is a very nice so we were discussing that so Varnashrama is setting free. How to create? So Varnashrama is like proper society without envies, service to Lord as foundation. That's how we can create a Varnashrama society. If somebody want to create, first they should teach this one. Serve the Lord as a foundation. So dangers of improper Varnashrama implementations is it causes exploitation. This is actually happening now also. It is not possible to create Varnashrama. They are not. Basically, we have to be interested in following the rules and regulations to minimize our material conditioning. So that is the purpose. And revolutionary consequences, Russia, China are the example. So it created what? If you are going against, if you are implementing these systems without serving the Lord as the foundation, so what happens is the Brahmanas will exploit the Shudras, and then there will be revolution. So instead of making anything good in the society, they will only create revolutions. Because presently the whole society is pride based society. But what we want is respect based. Even parents are not able to teach their children how to respect. Why they are not able to teach? Because they themselves are not doing with their seniors. That is the main tragedy. Unless we learn to respect, we cannot teach others also. That is the first thing. Every day you wake up, you have to touch the feet of parents. This is compulsory. Even if they are wrong also, but when it comes to respect, we should not stop giving respect. They may treat you badly, still we have to respect. And there should be faith in the system. Okay, because they have done something to me, they may be doing wrong, or whatever behavior they themselves are wrong also, and they may be extremely unreasonable. But when it comes to respect, that should not be given up. And we should never talk ill about parents in front of children. That is another thing that happens in the society. Like mother's parents are talked ill about, father talks ill about mother's parents in front of children, and mother is talking ill about her mother-in-law, father-in-law in front of children. This is a very, very dangerous training she is giving to children. Because she is showing disrespect to her elders. And then how can you create respect in your children? They will never do it, because you never taught it, you did not do it properly. And then there is a punishment. What is the punishment? Children will also behave like that with you in the future. They will not respect because you did not do it. And nowadays they are not even respecting the teachers. Why children are not respecting teachers? Because parents are not doing it. When the parent in the previous times in the village, if the school teacher is there of the village, there should be not many teachers. If the teachers come, even the parents used to touch the feet of the teacher. So then what will the child learn? The child understand, okay, he is a teacher, he should be always respected because my parents are touching their feet. So that much respect is given to the teachers. And even now what is happening? Parents are going to parents-teacher meeting and they are fighting with the teachers. So then what happens? There is no respect between parents and teachers. They are respected, criticized, and children also learn. But they don't learn. What they learn is they only gain pride. So the knowledge is giving them super pride. So present society, the education is making people pride. So this is the problem that is happening. And yesterday was our Republic Day, where India's constitution was made. But the problem with this constitution is this is based on materialistic conception of life. It is not based on respect. That's why it won't work. And people are very proud. They'll say we should be proud of our country, we should be proud of this, we should be proud of that. And every day in the schools now we have this pledge. So India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. So it's a preaching of pride. It is no humility there, and I am proud of my country. So why you should be proud? You should be respectful. We should be grateful. We should follow the rules, systems, and this is actually what is the problem in the present societies. We, if somebody is saying Varnashram society, instead of telling you, tell, let us create a society of respect. Then automatically exploitation reduces. And even if, see, why a person who is doing a job of employee want to become the CEO? Because if he is a CEO, is more respected. But if employee is also respected, there is dignity for work, then he don't want to jump. He understands, I have my contribution, I have my respect, and I am happy. So that's actually what was there. And then we see that here we saw the transmigration. Yeah, and this important in another thing here we have discussed is when Bharat Maharaj was living, Bharat Maharaj, he becoming a deer, but Vaikuntha Vijay is Lord never forgetting. Lord showed his mercy here by making him remember, but important thing is the holy name. He could chant the holy name even in deer's body. That's why when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jharkhand forests, animals were chanting. How they are able to chant? Because here Bharat Maharaj also chanted when he was deer. Because the holy name is beyond material nature. It's a mercy of Lord we can chant the holy name. It is not because of the material conditionings or material. So no matter how much I change material conditioning, I cannot chant the holy name without mercy of Lord. So mercy of Lord comes when there is humility. That is how we can develop, we can attract the mercy of Lord. So here deer could chant because Lord wanted. We can also chant if Lord if we show mercy, if Lord shows mercy, and when He will show mercy, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manidina Kirtaniya Sarahi. So when Lord will show, when we will chant constantly holy name, when there is humility, when there is tolerance and respect. So when these three things are there, we get the mercy of Lord, we can constantly chant. This holy name descends. And here Jadabar's teachings are the most important. Rishabdev teaching and Jadabar's teaching. So here kings advocate of Varnashram system, spirituality versus practical considerations. And King Ravgana's challenge is soul versus body distinctions. So master-servant relation society and body exercises fatigue and need to practice application. So we'll just discuss this one part now. This is a very important, we'll just see one slide of everything. So what he says is, I am the master, you are the servant, you are tired. So Jadavat is telling the soul carry is no burden. I am not fat, I am not thin. So this conversation is deconstructs the society of envy. It teaches how to perform external duties, even menial ones like carrying, while maintaining the internal consciousness, that is detachment from temporary designations. So here this is we'll come to this actually how the modern era, the man is coming from the he's shifting his consciousness to matter. So God centered to matter center actually. So God center to matter center. This one we will discuss a little bit. We'll summarize this one part. This is a very nice analysis. We'll just spend little time on it. It's a very important thing to understand. Yeah, so here the development of what the Varnashrama, the rules, what Rahugana argues is actually very good argument. So, but who is a pious king within Varnashram system and who is actually advocates normal Varnashrama. The whole discussion initiates from the question of Maharaj Arjuna. He said that your spirit soul, it's okay. You said that you are not thin, you are not thick, you are not fat, you are not tall, you are not this, you are not the master, you are not the servant. That's fine. That is spiritual consideration. But we live in this society, and this society, I am the king, you are the palanquin carrier, and in this society, even though the soul does not feel fatigue, the body still feels fatigue because the soul is within the body. The soul feels fatigue of the body. How is it? So you are trying to describe this transcendental philosophy, but it does not seem to be practical. So Ravgana says, let's be practical. In this material world, we have to be practical. It means we have to respect this Varnashram system. So that's what he started saying. Now we have till now we are discussing about Varnashram only. Priyavrata was told by him to follow some Varnashram and all. But now what it means we have to respect Varnashram system is that same thing is Rahu is saying. Now we have to have another step in proper direction. What is that? Because if it was only Varnashrama, it would not be a proper understanding. So that's why our acharyas are not so much in Varnashrama. Bhaktivinoda Thakur started a little bit before that. They were not even bothering. They are just telling that something you follow whichever is favorable and do it. But these regulations are given for the one purpose, that is to develop internally and not waste time and energy in the lust. So if we try to transgress the rules of the Varnashrama, then our whole energy will be dissipated in these lusty activities. So that is the first thing we need to understand. So here he is arguing about the regular Varnashrama. So Rahugana's challenges are Varnashrama arguments, which presently many people are doing. And now Jaradabhar's essential teaching is, following and rules and regulations is for conserving energy, to protect our energy. And what is the most important energy? That is the energy of lust. So if we conserve this energy, then we will grow spiritually. So the combination of external and internal practice. So it is to protect energy to make spiritual growth. That means the purpose is not clear here. Purpose is not clear. Why he has to follow? So that's where Rahugana is making the mistake. So we discussed what happens is there should be identity also, spiritual identity, and then you do your material condition nature duties. So spiritual identity plus duties. So then it is safe, otherwise it is always problem. When Krishna tells Arjuna to do duty in the second chapter, first he tells his identity. From 11th to 30th shloka of PG second chapter, he tells, and then from 31st onwards till 38 he tells duties. Right? So then Arjuna got confused. You are giving me spiritual identity and duties, because that's how we work. So purpose should be clear. So we have to protect our energy by performing duties, and then we make spiritual growth. Then the identity is slowly revealed. So combination of both are needed. And here Maharaj Parikshit, then here we'll just take few more things. So first there is a conversation between Jadabharat and Maharaj Ranugana. Then Parikshit Maharaj, he asks Sukadeva Goswami to explain it further, and what it means, the forest of material enjoyment. And Sukadeva Goswami, he starts to repeat everything, the instructions of Jadabharat to Rahugana, how to develop internally by externally following rules and regulations. This is a very important part, because the whole society of envy. So inevitably the Varnashrama, the external form Varnashrama system will be turned into some ugly social mechanism, which actually happened in India only. And this is, if we, external skeleton was internal essence. So why Vedic culture is bad? Because instead of following the spirit, even people became allergic to the word Varnashram only. So important it is, despite misunderstanding. We have to know that this is a very big problem that happened in the society, because that is misused. But if that's why instead of telling Varnashram, we can say it's a society of respect. Then at least people will. So now we will see here prehistoric perspective, Gaudiya Vaishnava view. So Rupa Goswami cautioned about Varnashrama, viewed as an impediment by some. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave the proper explanation. So our acharyas felt Varnashrama, Rupa Goswami cautioned, and they felt it's a impediment, because it is external form, does not make anything actually. And why it happened is because Brahmana, exploitation of Brahmanas basically. This is exploitation by Brahmanas and higher caste. Now we see the society should be created. So now to implement, Rupa Goswami is giving warning, and our Gaudiya acharyas were never favorable to Varnashrama. They viewed as an impediment to spiritual growth. Only Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained the proper, because he said Varnashrama is the protective covering of internal development. So I gave the example of this mango. This is actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur's way of understanding it. But if you take out the peel, everything will rot. In that, in the previous times, people were naturally doing it. There was no industrial revolution when our acharyas were there. No industrial revolution and no modernization. So there was no modernization and industrial revolution. So it was easy. Everybody was doing something like Varnashram only. That's why they said, "Arey, just don't get caught away with these things." So they have to be very strict about it. That it was not needed for them to tell not to follow because everybody is doing Varnashram only that time. So they said, "Arey, forget about Varnashrama, focus on Bhakti, focus on Bhakti." You are seeing the audience which they are addressing, our acharyas, audience were already following Varnashrama. So that's why they told no need. But when Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, then he saw that, oh no, they need to be given some rules and regulations so that they become, because now Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Britishers came already and there was some modernization and people started wearing Western clothes and then they started appreciating something West. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he brought that, oh no, they are there, some rules you have to follow within that. We need a proper social structure. And then we discussed this point also that why he is talking is because some rules we have to follow Varnashrama because it is going to protect it. It creates a social structure. Social structure means basically a community. So here, why Christianity failed in the purpose, but what is intended initially is because there is no social structure. So Christianity failed because they were not having this because no structure. Like that. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur assigned this to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's constitution, but it is very difficult to implement. Why? Because these are the things that is needed. So, evolution of details over principles. So, what all things are needed? Satyam, Ahimsa, Saucham, Tapasya, Daya. So, this is actually what is the society we want. Just follow this, respect is added. Should I? Okay, we will do it anyway. We will take a little more time and complete this today. So, what about Islam? Yeah, they are having, see, some rules are there for them also. They are growing something, but the thing is, there is some social structure for them. But whether they are reaching the purpose or not, that is the problem, because they don't respect women properly. That is the problem with Islam. Everybody should be properly respected. If women are not respected, then that society is not going to go in any good direction, and that is a problem with Islam. So here Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he asked, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted something like that, and Prabhupada said many times, why did he at all use the word Varnashrama if he didn't want it? Because Prabhupada understood this is a very important point. I want to mention it here. See, when it comes to we'll go up first. bhakti cannot be mass produced. So that is the reason Prabhupada said boil the milk. Why he said? Because bhakti cannot be mass produced. But for a peaceful society, this is needed. So Varnashrama is for basically a larger section of people, Varnashrama is needed. But if somebody is very seriously practicing bhakti, for him Varnashrama, some rules which are favorable he should take. There is no need of working for Varnashrama separately. But a larger section of people can't take bhakti. So they need Varnashrama. You are understanding? It's not for everyone. That means tomorrow onwards we do Varnashram. No. It is for the largest section of people, because bhakti cannot be mass produced. See, how many people come for the morning class and attend Bhagavatam? Even though many people have time and facility, still they don't want, because it is not possible for everybody to come and attend. Why? Because it cannot be mass produced. It's something very internal. So it's very difficult to most of the people to practice bhakti. It is not possible. That is the reason the system is given. So we have to understand this very important thing, and these are the principles which it should be based upon. And that is another thing is the Smritis and Shruti Puranas, they are all teaching us, Itihasa teaching, the main teachings of Puranas and Itihasas is this cardinal moral values only. So the great moral values of compassion, service, humility, austerity, truthfulness, non-violence, all these things, Ramayana, Mahabharata, they are actually teaching these cardinal values only. So that to construct a proper society, this is for the general mass of people. They are having bhakti in it, but the most important instruction is this Dharma Shastras only. So their Dharma Shastras are secondary. We should be very clear with that. So Dharma Shastras are secondary. So proper construction of Varnashrama, and the sources are Purana Siddhasa. So Ramayana, Mahabharata, their Dharma Shastras are secondary. So this is the most important thing. And then what happens if somebody is neglecting these basic foundations of moral laws? Then there will be failure. There will be something which is not very good. So it will be exploitation in the form of Varnashrama. But if you build on these values, which are also there in Bhagavatam, then try to see how the secondary rules of Varnashrama described Dharma Shastras applied to the modern times, to the modern capacity of human beings, according to our real capacity. So this is the point here. Now, Sthanam, this is the place, the foundation. Now from here we will come to the next section. So build a cardinal value system. So adopt a secondary rule to modern society. Considerate human strength and limitation, risk of failure without proper foundations. So this is what is the implementation. And individual benefit versus social transformation, need for exemplary society, firm establishment of cardinal values. So this is, that's what now. main principle is this one: bhakti cannot be mass produced. So if we understand this one, then we will understand why Prabhupada is telling Varnashrama, why he has to at all speak on it, because it is for the greater society. So I will just show you that board once. Yeah, now we'll come to the next section of the sacred geography. The universe as a school, Karma Bhumi. This is what we are staying, the land of action. So Bharatavarsha is very unique place. So this is what is the main point of this whole section. After reading everything, if we can understand Earth, the Bharatavarsha is a unique place where we are staying. It is the only place where new karma and dharma can be generated, and the limitations of upper planetary system is only spending good karma for enjoyment. Lower planetary system are only suffering bad karmic corrections, and earth is the place of choice. Only here can we change our destiny. So the universe is a multi-dimensional structure where every region worships the Supreme Lord in a specific mood. So here 7 oceans, islands and all. So this is the main thing. Now we have got a overall structure of understanding. So some more things are there. I will share with you what other parts of 5th canto. So overall 5th canto you are all coming to know now. So till now one section is completed. The second section is 16 to 26. So there are 10 chapters in it. So they are explaining about the sacred geography and universal structure. So universe is multi-dimensional. So these 11 chapters actually, they describe the sacred geography, and it's a sacred geography is connected with the internal boundaries which we have. So this is external boundaries, but there are internal boundaries. External structure, and the main point to understand is that we are living in a universe which is built by the Supreme Lord or by the will of Supreme Lord, by Brahma, according to design to teach us that this is a school, this is a place where we can promote, where we can be demoted, where we can be where we can have evolution. So this is the main purpose. So what is the purpose? It's a multi-dimensional universe. So that is the reason we can't see all the planetary systems. We say in all the where is Jambudvipa and other lokas and all, they are existing in a different dimension only. We are in a different dimension, we cannot access. And now what is the purpose? So this is built by the Supreme Lord. Purpose is to education, for promotion and demotion, evolution of consciousness. So evolution of consciousness. So multi-dimensional beyond visible perception. Now this is the most important. When they say, we can't see only what you are talking. Yeah, you will never be able to see. First change your consciousness. So this is based on evolution of consciousness, right? And now if it is but it definitely has more dimensions than we will be able to see with our eyes. So, and there are so many inhabitants, but it so happens that places where we live is very important place, interestingly. This is Karma Bhumi. Of all the places in the creation, most important place. Is Bharatavarsha. So we are very fortunate in that way because it's a place of Karma Bhumi, Dharma Bhumi. Ability to perform karma according to Dharma, advantage over even heavenly planets also. Where we can perform, not just to perform karma, but to perform karma according to our dharma. That means according to our psychophysical nature and laws of dharma. And if we perform karma according to our dharma, we will be elevated. And the advantage of those human beings who live in this planet is that they can perform dharma and karma, whereas the inhabitants in the higher planet systems, they can only enjoy the results of karma. They cannot do dharma according to karma. Only karma is happening for them, which is exhausting their karma. We can change our situation drastically. Otherwise, souls who are either in the upper planets, lower planets, they can only enjoy or suffer. Whereas our middle position is very advantageous because this is from this middle position we can follow the internal development and externally follow the rules can and be elevated to the entirely different, completely spiritual plane also. Whereas while remaining here, we will remain and go back to the 14 planetary systems. Always there is horizontal development, vertical development. First, the horizontal structure of universe is explained. If you see, so opportunity for complete spiritual evolution, horizontal versus vertical development. You are seeing. So this is the purpose of explaining all these planetary systems, which is Sthanam. Clear, no? And now we'll see the horizontal structure. This will not go into detail, but we'll just try to understand what is the overall picture of it. So we get a bird's eye view, and then when we are reading in detail, then we get an idea why this is given. First of all, to tell how fortunate we are. So Sukadeva Goswami is taking so much time to explain what is the special place in which we are living in, and further he is explaining all other things so that we understand the importance of something very special. And instead of horizontal, we should have vertical development. That too, we should go up, not just remain here. And Bhumandala, there are different planetary systems, various inhabitants and various activities. So the first this horizontal is explained, and then the vertical things comes. So vertical is the 14 planet systems. So description of inhabitants, activities, looking up at stars with understanding, Dhruva Maharaj and Dhruva Loka, rishis and being worshipping the Lord. So all these things are given in the 14 planetary systems. So who are the rishis who are worshipping the Lord, and which form of the Lord they are worshipping, all these things. Those sacred worshipping use, not just geography but worship also is given. So because everybody is worshipping at different varshas. So the Supreme Lord is their only way, in their own capacity according to the level of their consciousness. We can also worship Supreme Lord by following the great acharyas. In this way we develop our spiritual potency. So it is said that there is no time, but also maybe it's not even we will just few more things we will discuss. So where we are staying is based on our association. So our Acharya's association is what we take all the time, so that we will when we transgress the rules, we will end up in hellish planets. Okay, I will just finish it. So it is not geography but worship that actually matters. So everyone worships the Lord in different varshas and according to the consciousness level, following great acharyas, developing innate spiritual potency. And about the hellish planets, for those not following the rules, the natural outcome is not arbitrary punishment. This is also very important. There is a very proper systematic punishment. Transgression leads to hell, following the rules leads to heaven, and we have the freedom of choice, and there are 21 hells described. So now you understood the structure of whole fifth canto, from starting with Priyavarat Maharaj and ending with the hellish planets. Description of, so understanding hell and heaven, no need to wait for afterlife. So they created within and without only. So if I am not obeying the laws now, I am staying in my city here, I am already staying in hell. It's not just geographical location also, it's a state of mind. So created within. So I am creating a hell within first. Then externally you will get hell. Then you will properly go to hell. But you are already creating a hell within your mind because you are not following the rules. You are already suffering. What is suffering means? Suffering means hell, right? And why this happens? Not following rules. That's all. So liberation accommodates for all choices, special place for boundary violations. Now, so the essence is understanding boundaries, internal and external development, and consequence of transgression. So that's whole fifth canto in 3 words. Now, so there are some questions. How to find Varnashrama? So it's a Brahminical culture and respect for values, and general value system for all. Need for varied education and recognition, natural inclination, mixed nature in modern times, development through association and education, satisfaction of proof of alignment. So these are actually Brahminical qualities versus natural. So we can find what is our Varna based on these things. So we need to have education for that. But now we just practice our bhakti and take some guidance. They will tell you, okay, you are people after coming to 35, 40, they understand this is what they are inclined, and once they understand it, then they have to start working in that direction. That will help. If somebody can recognize it early, that is good. Because previously Guru used to be there who used to, according to the chat, they used to tell. But now we can just see, okay, after practicing some bhakti, these are the things that are very helpful for me and I am peaceful doing it, then do it. In modern times, they call it a signature strength. And any of the people who are teaching the how to keep mind peaceful, duties and all, what they tell is, do your actions which are pleasing to you, which you can focus, get absorption in it. So basically, signature strength means where you can, what all things you can do in this. First is you can selflessly do this activity. Selfless service you can do. Not attached to result. Third is can get complete absorption. So basically, they don't know what is this. This is actually duty according to nature, and we call it varnashrama duty. They call signature strength, and the main purpose of this is the person is able to do action without much attached result. He can do selflessly that activity and he get full absorption in that activity. So any activity helps us to be in this three state, complete absorption. Then what happens? This will help our mind's energy free from lust. So the results is, first is mind becomes strong, it becomes peaceful, and lust reduces, and there is satisfaction. Now mind is strong, peaceful, satisfied, lust is reduced. Then what happens? He will not do sense gratification. So no bad habits, and can think of purpose of life. That means he can develop higher consciousness because he is peaceful, he is satisfied, so he can start thinking about it. So this is the advantage of doing. So I took one credited course from L University. So they started telling about the science of well-being. That was the course I took. Then I was trying to understand what they are teaching. So in the end was this signature strength. Then I understood, this signature strength is actually doing our duty according to our psychophysical nature, which is also called varnashrama duty. Why? Because all these things are possible. So if we are not doing selflessly, we are very selfish, we are attached to results, and we are not able to get complete absorption. And this is actually what is happening. Like say, person is not meant for software job, so he cannot do any selfless thing. He will always attach to result because he is not liking the work, so he is attached to result, and he is not able to get complete absorption only because he is absorbed in something else. He just want to do sense gratification. You want to do something else, but he is doing this activity. So with not complete absorption, he just whatever able to do, he will do it. And the result is, instead of mind becoming strong, it becomes weakful. He is not peaceful, and he is saying, "Arey, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, I am doing something which I don't like. So let me come home and do something which I like." So you want to vent out all the dissatisfaction. So what he does, he goes for bad habits or he goes for some sense gratification. So that becomes the purpose of life. So like in Vedic culture, what people after doing their regular duties, they used to come in the evening and they were engaging in spiritual activity. Why? Their mind was peaceful, strong, satisfied, lust is reduced. So that is how the system works. So okay, any questions, comments till now? Okay, one question in chat box will tell me. To practice of sadhana bhakti, only we will develop the real quality of Trinada Pisunichena, or by Lord's mercy will we get this quality, because ego is involved here, and without mercy of Lord, ego does not go away. We have to at least learn to practice humility, with our own understanding. The real humility will come, Lord. The quality will be manifesting by Lord's mercy, but at least from our side, the attempt should be proper. So that's how we will be able to get it. Lord, we have to practice ourselves. Like now, today, I can respect people who are around me. I can consciously practice respecting, consciously practice tolerance, consciously practice humility also to some extent. So these are can be practiced, and then when slowly the higher levels will be given by the Lord. Any other questions, comments? Yeah, there are other things, but so how to follow Varnashram? Some questions are there here, but yeah, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reject Varnashrama? Is actually he didn't reject. Actually, he said that is not the goal. So it is not sadhya. It is only sadhana. Some extent it helps. So about Vanaprastha, we cannot live in the forest. We just have to develop renunciation through austerities, which happens in our heart now. And yeah. Okay. Thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।